Hello, everybody. I am Bob Quinn, the CEO here at the New Hampshire Association of Realtors, and we're pleased to have today with us Sara Holland, who is the chair of our Public Policy Committee. Good morning, Sara.
Good morning, Bob. Thanks for having me.
The legislative session is underway officially a couple of weeks ago. The New Hampshire Public Policy Committee has been reviewing hundreds of bills, trying to identify those which impact private property rights, the affordability and availability of housing, as well as licensing. And what we want to talk about today are those that are impacting housing, which has become a real priority for the legislature. The governor herself, during her inaugural address, mentioned that without resolving our housing inventory crisis in New Hampshire, there is no way for the New Hampshire economy to continue to grow and provide for working families and the jobs and the workers needed for the businesses in the state. So, with that said, we've already seen some movement a little bit on that at the State House on that issue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We were at the State House yesterday testifying in favor of HB 399, which is to institute a study committee relative to the Zoning Enabling Act, which we learned also yesterday is 100 years old this year. So that study committee is super important to look at a variety of different things relative to zoning and the state's permission that they give to the municipalities relative to their job in managing that zoning in their areas. So some of the questions that are going to be answered with this study committee are going to be used to address some of the barriers that we're seeing in housing today. So we think it's a really great step to be able to, make some changes there relative to, again, those barriers that we're seeing in housing.
So one of the barriers that's been discussed really has to do with municipal regulations. And again, the governor brought those up in her inaugural address, and the impediment that it has to housing. And one of those impediments that we've talked about is a bill that is being introduced it's House Bill 459. We like to kind of call it the Starter Home Act. So it's just a way to sort of incentivize and create those homes for the first-time home buyers, and to try to tackle the issue in terms of minimum lot sizes. So how exactly does the bill do that?
Yeah, so this Starter Home Act is really looking at, going back to zoning a little bit, that zoning is relative to the health and safety of that community. So it's really looking at what is needed in a particular lot size to accommodate those health and safety needs, so sewer and water, and what does that minimum look like? So there are a number of municipalities throughout the state that have 1 acre minimum lot sizes, which can be much more than what is required for a single family sewer and water. And then some municipalities that have much larger lot sizes. So this is really bringing it down to what is necessary to be able to support that single family home or that duplex.
Yeah, a lot of young couples might be able to afford a quarter of an acre, put a nice 2,000 square foot home, nice backyard, but the government steps in and the local government will say that's illegal. You can't do that. You have to have an acre, and that increases costs for that couple and potentially makes that dream home unaffordable. So at least that, I think, is the intent behind 459, and we as the association are in supportive of the bill.
Absolutely. And going back to that study committee, those are things that they're really going to be looking at.
Yeah. And another bill which is sort of a repeat from last year, although with a little bit of a twist, accessory dwelling units. So.
Yeah, accessory dwelling units. We had a win a number of years ago getting an attached accessory dwelling unit by right. Last year we saw the bill come back with 2 accessory dwelling units, either an attached or detached or both, by right. It had some trouble in the legislation. We tried to kind of save it towards the end and say, no, maybe we should just make it one or the other. And so now it's come back in its newer version this year that we're in support of. So that would be 1 attached or 1 detached by right. So you have the option either or.
Yeah, so that for those of you who are following at home, that's going to be House Bill 577. So those are a couple of bills that are designed to tackle the housing. I think so far we've seen about a dozen bills. I expect to see several dozen by the time all the legislation is out. So hopefully we'll see some movement in the legislature as we try to get more inventory out there.
Absolutely, and this is an issue that touches everybody, and it's as Governor Ayotte said in her speech, that this is something that affects our entire economy. So we'll be looking to support those bills that make sense in this area and be bold.
Great. Thanks, Sarah, for coming, and we look forward to seeing you in the weeks and months ahead to give us updates on what's happening at the State House.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bob.
Thank you.